Hi there. Nice to finally meet you in person. My name's Morgan, and I'll be your personal tour guide around Bryce Canyon. Today's weather is perfect for sightseeing. I've marked the best spots of the park on your map. I'm ready to get started whenever you are.
I'm really looking forward to seeing the sunrise from up there.
Once you finish taking off, I'll guide you to the first spot of the tour.
Here we go.
First, we will head toward Bryce Canyon City, the gateway to the park. Here we are, Bryce Canyon City. It was founded in 1916 when the first lodge and cabins were built to welcome travelers. Its popularity soon grew to a point where the park's ecosystem was endangered, and the area was declared a national park in 1928. The city and canyon are named after Ebenezer Bryce, a Mormon rancher who settled in the area in 1874. He reportedly described the canyon as a hell of a place to lose a cow.
Honestly, that's probably the most relatable way anyone has ever described a national park.
Let's now follow the scenic road toward Bryce Canyon Visitor Center. Here is the Visitor Center, where many tourists begin their journey into the park. It serves as the headquarters of the park rangers surveying the Utah prairie dog population, which is native to the area. There is also an interactive museum exhibiting the incredible paleontological discoveries made inside the park, including ancient marine fossils from back when Utah was covered by a vast inland sea. The area also sits right on the edge of a certified international dark sky park, with local ordinances strictly designed to minimize light pollution. It offers some of the best stargazing spots in the country.
It's nice to hear they're actually protecting the darkness. People usually think about preserving the land, but preserving the
Night sky is just as special.
Okay, let's continue by heading toward the sinking ship, a stunning rock formation east of the visitor center. If you look down below, you'll see Bryce Canyon's famous hoodoos. The word comes from the southern Paiute people. Those rock formations were considered to be the petrified remains of ancient beings who had been sanctioned for misbehavior.
From up here, they almost look like a
crowd of figures frozen in place.
Just ahead is the sinking ship, a prominent mesa tilted 30 degrees. The sinking ship is a great example of the geologic forces at work in the Bryce Canyon area. It was formed through millions of years of uplift, tilting bedrock that has been eroded, exposing its layers. The sinking ship and the hoodoos are formations made of the same bedrock, a form of limestone. The different characteristics of each is due to differences in how they have been eroded. Let's continue to Sunrise Point, the perfect spot for beautiful views during this time of day. Just reached Sunrise Point. If you turn around and face towards the east, you can see the sun rise over the Aquarius Plateau.
Wow. The colors are so vibrant
Right now. It was a good idea to get up so early.
The viewpoint provides a stunning perspective of the tilted form of the sinking ship. To its left, Boat Mesa stands over the canyon. The next highlight of the trip is Bryce Point, just south of here. To Bryce Point, the park's most famous overlook. Situated at 8,200 feet, it offers stunning vistas of Bryce Amphitheater's collection of hoodoos and grottos, the defining features of this magnificent landscape. The Bryce Amphitheater contains one of the planet's greatest concentrations of hoodoos. The area is surrounded by several plateaus and valleys that provide visual insight into the dynamic natural history of the area.
This view is absolutely breathtaking.
Now, let's make our way toward the ridgeline until we reach Paria Valley. Directly ahead, framed by the canyon walls, is Paria Valley.
Whoa, look at that.
The overlook is named after the Paria River, which snakes through the valley far below. For most of the year, it looks like a dry, empty wash, but it is actually responsible for carrying away the eroded sediment and carving out the wider valley landscape over millennia. This amphitheater is more than 492 feet deep, and its steep vertical cliffs are famous nesting grounds for peregrine falcons and white-throated swifts. You can often watch them catch the thermal updrafts and dive bomb into the canyon at incredible speeds. All right, folks, let's head toward our next stop, Swamp Canyon. Here's our next stop. This is Swamp Canyon, the wetland of the desert. Despite being in a high-altitude desert, Swamp Canyon offers a lush microenvironment due to 2 tiny creeks and several natural springs. You can find wild iris, grasses, and willows here, a stark contrast to the parched surrounding landscape.
The mountains and forest together look magical.
When looking around, the horizon is dominated by 2 rocky formations known as buttes. They evolved due to differential weathering and erosion, where water broke down and carried away surrounding material more quickly than the buttes themselves, leaving them standing as they are today. Eventually, those buttes will erode further and turn into hoodoos as well. Now let's head toward Pink Cliffs, one of Bryce Canyon National Park's most colorful formations. For all the birdwatchers, this part of the park is one of the most interesting. It attracts a wide variety of species, including many songbirds that are not found in the park's more rocky and exposed areas. Looks like we've arrived. Here is the Pink Cliffs, the topmost and youngest step in the vast geological sequence known as the Grand Staircase, which stretches 100 miles from Bryce Canyon southward to the Grand Canyon. While the oldest rocks at the bottom of the Grand Canyon are nearly 2 billion years old, the Pink Cliffs represent the most recent major sedimentary deposits in the region. The vibrant coloring of the cliffs comes from varying amounts of iron oxide and manganese trapped within the limestone.
The colors are so rich.
We'll now head toward Black Birch Canyon, one of the last stops on our journey.
Every turn somehow gets even more incredible.
This is it. Black Birch Canyon is lying in front of us.
I can't get over this view.
Located at an elevation of around 8,530 feet, this viewpoint offers a quieter, high-altitude perspective of the park's southern amphitheater. On a clear day, the overlook provides incredible long-distance views. If you look to the east, you can see Navajo Mountain on the horizon, which is over 80 miles away. The canyon's floor, 984 feet below the overlook, is covered in a dense carpet of pine and fir trees, which is a different environment than the rest of the park. Okay, let's head toward one final spectacular viewpoint before we wrap up this journey.
I don't want this helicopter ride to end.
We've reached the grand finale, Rainbow Point, the highest point in Bryce Canyon National Park. At 9,186 feet, it offers a stunning 360-degree panorama of the entire park and surrounding region. The landscape descends in massive geological steps south of here toward the Grand Canyon. The combination of high altitude, an arid climate, and limestone soil creates a rare microbiome that supports the growth of ancient bristlecone pine trees. These beautiful sentinels live for thousands of years, growing extremely slowly in harsh temperatures and winds that forge them over time into gnarled, evocative forms. Rainbow Point is also the end of the road for the 18-mile-long scenic road that starts from Bryce Canyon. I hope that you have enjoyed exploring the wonders of Bryce Canyon National Park.
Absolutely. This has been incredible.
This has been a wonderful flight throughout one of the planet's most beautiful and intriguing corners. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share it with you.
Hi there, nice to meet you. My name is Bella, and I'll be your personal tour guide for the trip. The views of these spectacular mountains are beautiful down here, but wait until you see them from the air. I'm ready to get started whenever you are.
All set. Here we go. Once you've finished taking off, I'll guide you to all the best spots. Did you know that Jackson Hole Airport is the only commercial airport in the U.S. located inside a national park? Since the National Park Service successfully opposed a plan to extend the runway, the airport has some fairly unique flight restrictions due to the short runway, high altitude, and noise limitations.
Don't sink, don't sink, don't sink, don't sink, don't sink. Don't sink, don't sink, don't sink, don't sink, don't sink.
Now that we're in a cruise, we should make our way to the historic Mormon Road District, the first landmark on our tour. Just follow the markers like we planned. Grand Teton National Park is named after Grand Teton, the tallest mountain in the Teton Range. At approximately 485 square miles, or 1,300 kilometers, the park includes the major peaks of the 40-mile-long Teton Range, known as Jackson Hole. The human history of the Grand Teton region dates back at least 11,000 years. The Jackson Hole Valley climate at that time was colder and more alpine than the one found today, and the first humans were migratory hunter-gatherers spending summer months in Jackson Hole and wintering in the valleys west of the Teton Range. In the early 19th century, the first European settlers encountered the Eastern Shoshone people. Between 1810 and 1840, the region attracted fur trading companies that vied for control of the lucrative beaver pelt trade. The United States government dispatched the first expeditions to the area in the mid-19th century, and Mormon homesteaders began arriving in the 1890s from Idaho, creating a community called Gros-Ventre, with a total of 27 homesteads. Ahead of you, you'll see the T.A. Moulton Barn. The barn is all that remains of the homestead built by Thomas Alma Moulton and his sons between about 1912 and 1945. It sits west of the road, known as Mormon Row, in an area called Antelope Flats. Now lying within Grand Teton National Park, the property with the barn was one of the last parcels sold to the National Park Service by the Moulton family. Often photographed, the barn with the Teton Range in the background has become an iconic symbol of the area. Speaking of which, feel free to take some photos along the journey. With views like these, they're sure to be breathtaking. It may look calm and innocuous today, but this valley has experienced Pleistocene Ice Age glaciers advancing across it many times. Each time the glaciers melted, a raging torrent of meltwater flowed across the valley floor. The powerful flow carved terraces that step down to the modern Snake River, our visual guide for this leg of the tour. Running parallel to Snake River is U.S. Route 191, which connects many national parks as it runs north-south. Following it north would bring us straight to Yellowstone National Park, famed for its geysers and bison herds. Although, of course, for us, we could just fly there. Snake River enters the park from the north and flows initially into Jackson Lake before winding through the valley floor, carrying snowmelt from the mountains westward towards the Pacific Ocean. Many species of wildlife use the river, from the browsing moose to the industrious beaver. Snake River once hosted some of the largest North American runs of salmon and other anadromous fish, who migrate up the river from the sea to spawn. For thousands of years, salmon fishing has played a central role in the culture and diet of indigenous peoples. The Shoshone and Nez Perce were the largest of several tribes that lived along the river by the turn of the 19th century. In 1805, while searching for a route from the eastern U.S. to the Pacific, Lewis and Clark became the first non-natives to see the river. Jackson Lake Dam is a concrete and earth-filled dam that was created by damming the outlet of the natural glacial Jackson Lake. The additional water height created a storage pool for the Minidoka project, which provides irrigation water from the Snake River for farmlands in Idaho. The first Jackson Lake Dam was a log crib dam constructed in 1906 and 1907 across the outlet of Jackson Lake. That dam raised the lake level by 22 feet, but it failed in 1910. The current concrete and earthen dam was constructed in stages between 1911 and 1916, raising the maximum lake level to 30 feet above the lake's natural elevation and giving us the Jackson Lake we see today. Jackson Lake is the remnant of large glacial gouging from the neighboring Teton Range to the west and the Yellowstone Plateau to the north. The lake is primarily fed by the Snake River, which flows in from the north and empties at Jackson Lake Dam. It is one of the largest high-altitude lakes in the United States at an elevation of 6,772 feet above sea level. Located near the northern end of Jackson Lake is John D. Rockefeller Jr. Memorial Parkway, which extends to the south entrance of Yellowstone National Park. Along with surrounding national forests, these three protected areas constitute the almost 34,375 square mile, or 89,000 square kilometers. Greater Yellowstone ecosystem, one of the largest intact mid-latitude temperate ecosystems in the world. Now we'll pass into Moran Canyon, bringing us into the heart of the Teton Range. The bay and canyon are named after Mount Moran, itself named for Thomas Moran, an American Western frontier landscape artist. Canyon was formed by glaciers, which retreated at the end of the last glacial maximum, approximately 15,000 years ago. Tectonic extension, or stretching and thinning of the Earth's crust, caused the genesis of the Teton mountain range along the Teton Fault 9 to 10 million years ago. The west block along the fault line rose to form the Teton Range, creating the youngest mountain range in the Rocky Mountains. The fault's east block fell to form the valley known as Jackson Hole, where we started our journey. Creek confluence is the location where the north and south forks of Moran Creek merge to form the larger creek running through Moran Canyon. Creeks like these are fed by rainfall from the surrounding mountains, melting snowpack, and the high-altitude alpine lakes scattered along the range. now near the western edge of Grand Teton National Park. The mountain slopes to your right are part of the Jedediah Smith Wilderness, located within Caribou-Targhee National Forest. Encompassing the western slopes of the Teton Range, the wilderness protects the area's delicate ecosystems, in part by prohibiting motorized and mechanized vehicles within its boundaries, even including bicycles. Like most smaller lakes in the area, Lake Solitude was formed by glacial action that carved out the valley and left a moraine behind, acting as a dam to retain the lake's water. Though covered in snow and ice for much of the year, the lake does contain fish, and adventurous hikers can occasionally be seen going for a swim. We've arrived at the Cathedral Group, the tallest collection of mountains in the Teton Range, formed over millennia by multiple glacial cycles. These are classic alpine peaks with distinctive pyramidal summits. Half of the remaining dozen glaciers in the Teton Range are located in this cluster of high peaks, including the largest, Teton Glacier, located on the north face of Grand Teton.